That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about The Way Back, which opens March 6, 2020, courtesy of Warner Brothers, starring Ben Affleck and directed by Gavin O'Connor.
This film is about an alcoholic construction worker who gets tapped by his old high school to be the basketball coach because he was the star player back then in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's directed by
Gavin O'Connor,
who has done...
he's done a variety of things. Has a lot of sports dramas on his resume, including the period hockey piece starring Kurt Russell, Miracle.
Okay.
In 2016, he had two movies. One was the fated Jane Got a Gun, starring Natalie Portman, which he was supposed to be a Lynn Ramsey film, and a week before production, he took over. And then The Accountant with Ben Affleck, where Affleck plays the assassin with Asperger's, which was not a film I really cared for.
Well, I will admit, I don't really have feelings about Ben Affleck. I didn't really like him as Batman, and I know that he's married to that lady who sells credit cards.
I don't believe in anymore.
Oh, not anymore? Okay. He cheated on her with a babysitter.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Bought her a Lexus convertible. I know that. I know that he has a drinking problem. And I know
kind of in relation to his Batman anxieties, I think.
I know his brother had issues with being sexually inappropriate, and that hasn't affected his career either.
Yeah.
But that being said, I really like this film, and I really liked Ben Affleck in it.
Same.
He is in full DILF mode.
And I had to drag, you did not want to go.
Because I don't like sports, so I thought this was going to be a sports film, and it really isn't.
No, it's a character
In
study.
fact, I think the basketball component of it, I actually enjoyed. I really enjoyed seeing him as that character come to life, because it's kind of like a metaphor for what gets him through his darkest times. But I also thought it would be very cliche, which it is. Obviously he starts coaching this shitty team that hasn't been in the playoffs since he was a player 20 plus years back. So he starts and gets them to the playoffs. So you would think, okay, it's like a feel-good movie, which it is, and that's the end. But then just when I thought the film was going to end, then he sort of relapses because he's a drunk and unhappy. There's this subplot between him and his estranged wife. Their young son died from what I would assume is cancer.
Yeah.
So he's very upset about it. And it's destroyed their relationship. She's seeing some new guy. He's lonely. He's drinking every night, ruining his life. Being the coach kind of brings him back to life,
Yeah.
as Celine Dion said. And then, but he has the day after the playoffs. So this was a part of the film that I didn't really care for. So he and his estranged wife had a set of couple friends. So another husband and wife who have a son who was also in the hospital sick when their son was in the hospital sick. So the morning after when his team wins the game to go to the playoffs, he gets a call from his estranged wife hey, our two friends who we don't really hang out with anymore because our son died, their son's in the hospital, we have to go.
And
don't know why they needed to go, but he goes and he's triggered. So that night he goes to the bar, which he hasn't been to in a long time, gets fucking smashed, brings home some woman, he has an accident, breaks into some house, gets arrested, goes to work. Doesn't he go to work the next day?
No, I think that's he'd already been fired.
Oh, and he had been fired. He gets fired because they catch him drinking again because he was upset about the whole, going back to the hospital thing. And then the last quarter of the film is him dealing with that, going to rehab, losing his job, having to apologize to his wife for being shitty. So it kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I like it so much.
For lack of a better word, sobering.
Yeah. Ben Affleck was great. The kids who are part of the team he coaches, I thought were written really well.
Yeah, not overdone, just
not overdone. They were cute. They seemed realistic. There were a couple of heartfelt moments with the kids.
Michaela Watkins as his sister is always somebody I appreciate.
Okay.
And then you had Glynn Turman in there as
good old Glynn Turman from a different world.
And T.K. Carter from The Thing is the father of kind of the star player.
The star player, yep, he's in there.
And he gets one scene. It was shot by Edward Grau, who lends Buried, that Ryan Reynolds film.
Nice.
And The Single Man, the Tom Ford film with Colin Firth.
The film is also, it appears that he's in Long Beach or San Pedro, like Southern California. I thought the use of like the location wasn't the best. Like, it's definitely not meant to seem like we know where they are, kind of.
Yeah.
I wish they would have focused a little bit more on
And
it.
I wonder if that's because of the high school he's teaching for is this Bishop's. It's a religious.
The logistics of how they're getting from place to place and the timing. Because there's like a plot point where like they get invited to a birthday party that we're told is like, oh, I know it's last minute. And then he doesn't say he'll go or if he will go or not. Then there's like this string of like games they win.
And
where it's all over, like Downey, like over here, over Whittier, over here. And then like we go to him being at the party. So like how far away was this party that you trained this team to win all these games? I thought that was a little funky.
Sure.
But whatever.
But as a character study, I think it's written by Brad Ingelsby, who did American Woman with Sienna Miller, which is kind of a film that's also all over the place, but really is a great character study for a lead character. Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale as well, and Run All Night with Liam Neeson.
Okay.
Which I didn't really care for that one. But I think it's clearly moderated after this performance, which also is of extra interest because we all know about Ben Affleck's issues. But
yeah, he did really well playing a drunk. So
it's clear you get the sense that he really understands what this looks like. But you feel very empathetic towards him.
Yeah, I really, really liked him in this film.
You almost don't even need the subplot of the dead kid.
Yeah,
but
well,
because people have, alcoholism is not a problem that has to be instigated by major life trauma.
True.
So, but
yeah, it's fair to say the plot's a little bloated, but also the film, the pacing's good.
It does, and the R rating I feel is very unfair because it's just
for language.
Like for Christ's fucking sake. But
anyway, I would give this film 3.5 out of 5 stars.
I give this film 3 out of 5 stars.
All right, bye.
Thanks, bye.